Ready to take your favorite Wager Talk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The Wager Talk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like Wager Talk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report, plus browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for Wager Talk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.
What up, people? Welcome in, and a very happy Thursday to you now here. Just a few more days left in 2022. We'll welcome in a brand new year, and still some time, though, to be able to cash a few more tickets to round out this year, especially in college hoops. Huge slate of games here today. Got some that we like a lot here on the show. We'll break them down for you, see if we can't find a couple of edges, and we'll do it with three of the finest gentlemen over at wagertalk.com. As no idea who invited him, but he keeps coming back. Bryan Power is here, and of course Tony Mejia back in the saddle again, as is Mr. 2 R's and 1 L, Steve Merrill, on this Thursday. Gentlemen, welcome in. Can't believe 2022 is almost over with here at this point. March Madness will be upon us before we know it, but I think there's some opportunities here this year for a couple of teams still to take advantage of, Bryan Power, and I know you have been taking advantage of a couple of weak-ass lines here over the last couple of weeks in college basketball. Talk to me. If you find anything tonight that you like that's on wagertalk.com.
Oh, there's always something I like, Joe. And, we'll be getting into that later on. But I can't complain. First of all, allow me to be the last to wish you a very Merry Christmas, Joe. I hope it was a Merry Christmas, as you'll be spending the next 3 hours with me, by the way. So I know you just that's like the biggest present of them all, isn't it, buddy? I just what a Thursday it's going to be. But on my end, I can't complain. Oh, I saw that. By the way.
I didn't have an itch. I got an itch.
Yeah. 60. Anyway, back to the picks. 60% over the last 2 weeks. Back over 50 units the last 2 months, and most importantly of all, last night we had our first 5% bowl play.
Boom!
It was on Kansas. We had them the whole time, Jayhawks fans.
Never in doubt.
Oh, man.
Yeah, never in doubt. So feel pretty good and glad to be here, Joe, as
yes.
I always am.
Listen, rather be lucky than good sometimes, and worked out last night there, so congrats to you. And Tony Mejia back in the saddle again. You've been on quite the run as well, man. You went MIA, I understand, looking at milk cartons, but you're the $2 handicapper. You're crushing bets all over the place, and now here you are again, man. So what's going on?
I've never felt more loved because everybody freaked out. I got a message on Twitter from like, "Hey, are you okay?" Yeah, I was like, my internet went out, and then I didn't see Johnny's message on my phone, so it was kind of like but I got the AT&T people out yesterday. Hopefully, the internet issues are a thing of the past, so you will not have fun freezing me on the NBA show, and things are good. I hit the $2 Tuesday pick on the over in the Orlando Magic LA Lakers game. So that was great. We will have 5% play tonight in the NFL. So that is up and available. And, probably some college basketball stuff. It's funny because this time of year, it's always strange. You always want to take points, I think, this time of year with these kids. But now you've got New Year's Eve and New Year's Day weekend games. So, tread lightly on that. And then same thing, I guess, in the NBA. But, things have been going well, and hope everybody's holiday is going great, too.
Oh, outstanding. You said there's an NFL game tonight? I thought it was like a minor league game here tonight. Talk to me here, Merrill. What is going on? I know you have got to have something rolling tonight, either NBA, bowl game. I don't know if you're invested in the NFL, but I know there's something locked and loaded over at wagertalk.com for you.
Yeah, Joe, the Westgate contest line is 10.5 Cowboys, and now the market line is 13.5, even a 14 now at Circa. So a lot of people will be scrambling, I think, to get the Thursday contest entries in. But, if you're trying to play catch-up, some game theory probably is don't use this game tonight and hope that, Tennessee covers the 10.5 on the Westgate line and pick up a game on everybody. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not using the NFL tonight, but I do have every other sport covered. I've got a strong best bet in about 3 hours, the late afternoon game in college bowl action. Check that out for Thursday. And also college and pro basketball best bets tonight on Thursday. And by the way, you can get that bowl game for free right now. In fact, you can get every bowl game for the rest of this week and the national championship next week for free when you buy my NFL season package for $199. That's a $100 savings getting the bowls for free. No promo code needed. We just put that up within the hour. It's on my page right now, stevemerrillwagertalk.com.
All right. Listen, guys, opportunities present themselves. Let's dive in here to a great slate of games tonight. We're going to start with a interesting one as Iowa travels to, let's go, Lincoln, Nebraska. That's it. This should be interesting. 150 is the total. Iowa laying 4 now, 7 o'clock Eastern time tip. And boy, oh boy. What has it been? It feels like it's been almost, 2 weeks since we were all laughing at Iowa getting their asses handed to them by a team that pretty much sisters of the blind. But, hey, they've had some time to regroup. I believe they're a little healthier than they were in that last game. And now, of course, they get to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And when you put it all together, kind of an interesting one. 4 for the road team. Are you buying Iowa in a bounce-back spot here, Bryan Power?
Yeah, that was Eastern Illinois that they lost to, the alma mater of one Tony Romo, for those keeping score at home. And, after the stunning loss, they're 31-point favorites. I can understand why people would want to lay the points here, thinking bounce back. But as the people have gotten to know me, and Joe, I know you're one of them over the last couple months, I'm generally not one who wants to lay points on the road in any sport. This line, I hate when people, trap game. What does that mean? It just, I don't know. I don't really want to lay the points. It should be pointed out, Nebraska took Purdue to overtime here at home. A very good Purdue team, one of the last 3 remaining unbeatens in college hoops. So I want to look at the total tonight. Iowa, well, first of all, Nebraska's 11-2 to the under, but Iowa clearly profiles as an over team, 10th in offensive efficiency, 101st in defensive efficiency, and 37th in tempo all over at KenPom. So I'll talk more about this in the best bet segment. I am leaning towards the over in this game. These teams have a history, I'll get more into it, of high-scoring affairs, and I think that's what we're going to see tonight in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Well, they've got not exactly the same team it was 8 days ago, Tony Mejia, that lost that game. So they do have 2 pretty important pieces available to here tonight. And 8 days, 9 days to think about it here. Are you a believer that Iowa can bounce back here against this Nebraska squad?
Yeah, getting back Chris Murray is a big deal. Obviously missed him. It's the other McCaffrey. And then Patrick McCaffrey went 3 for 15 from the field against not only Tony Romo's alma mater, but Jimmy Garoppolo, a little quarterback factory that they had at Eastern Illinois. They shot 39% from the field, 7 of 33 from 3. So, I mean, even with Murray and McCaffrey back, I don't love Iowa on the spot. I mean, at this point, having lost Keegan Murray to the NBA, he was selected 4th and is doing a nice job in Sacramento as a rookie early on. I mean, it was a team that not as talented as they were a year ago. They've lost 2 out of the last 3 because they dropped the game in overtime. And I think this Nebraska team is much better than they played in Lincoln. Fred Hoiberg has a team that defends, which is always key. They've had talent there. Bryce McGowan is in the league right now, but he's almost too young for the college game, immature over the past couple of years. And so this team that he's got now, he's got some transfers. They came in, and Bandu Mel from SMU came in. Griesel, he was playing out in Dakota, now came home back to Lincoln, Nebraska to play. and the Japanese kid Tominaga leading the team in scoring off the bench. So they've got some talent there. I would take the points with Nebraska.
Woo! Look at I'm going points here. What do you think, Merrill? Kind of an interesting two different styles, right? Iowa's going to want to run up and down the court. Nebraska's going to go, hey, ho, whoa, slow down here a little bit. Who do you give the edge to in this one? 4 seems like a lot, but they certainly have the firepower to handle business.
No, you're exactly right, Joe. I mean, whoever controls the pace most likely gets the cover, and the total is going to go that way as well. So if you can predict that, you're probably going to handicap this game correctly. The early money has gone from 3 to -4. The total has gone up a basket as well, up to 150. So the early money is saying Iowa in the over, which is correlated. I don't necessarily agree with that, though. First of all, huge red flag when a team loses as a 31-point favorite. I don't care if you got guys coming back. I don't care if you have a week off. Something's not right. And one of the reasons they've lost 2 of those last 3 games is they've given up 60 and 51% shooting in those 2 losses. So Nebraska is definitely the better defensive team in this game. And as you said, Nebraska likes to play slow. Iowa likes to play fast. I've said for years, I've said for decades, I use pace as my #1 handicapping tool in college basketball, and it's much easier to slow down a fast-paced team like Iowa than it is to speed up a slow half-court team like Nebraska, especially when it's in the slow-down team's home court. It's at Nebraska. So I do think they're a live dog in this game. I think Nebraska +4 and the under correlate. And Nebraska, as Bryan pointed out, they've been an under machine this year. They're 10-3 to the under in 13 games. The 2 recent games that went over the last month was against Boston College and Indiana, 2 teams that play below average pace. And all the totals have been in the 130 range for the most part. This total is now 150. So I think we get plenty of wiggle room here. And I do think Nebraska slows this game down tonight. So I'd lean Huskers and under in this one.
All right, well, Huskers on the under in this matchup here, making a clean sweep. We'll move on to another game here, a little late night like this one, 10 o'clock Eastern time tip as the Dons taking on Santa Clara. Santa Clara laying 3 here in this one. 150.5 is the total. And boy, oh boy, I mean, the Dons came out firing in that little mini tournament there a couple of, was it last week during the holiday? I mean, Arizona State's still looking for the license plate of the truck that ran them over in that game. What do you think here, Bryan Power? Interesting shooting teams. If they're on, I don't know, 150 is probably not enough, but how are you leaning?
Well, first off, the Dons have been kind to me. This is a team I had against UNLV when they handed them their first loss, and then I was on them in that aforementioned Arizona State game as well. But we talked Santa Clara last week on the program, talked about how I thought they were going to go under against Boise State. That won, and so did the Broncos, 73-58. They've won 9 of 10. This is a good matchup. 2 teams that are feeling good. I think the key, though, is going to be San Francisco 3-point shooting, because they take a crazy amount of them, and Santa Clara not all that good at defending the 3-point line. Teams are hitting 35%. It's going to probably be a track meet. I don't know if they get over, but give me the Dons and their backcourt plus the points. I think it's also worth noting Santa Clara's top 20 in luck rating over at Ken Pom, so some regression probably on the horizon for them. I like the points with San Francisco in this one.
All right, he's liking the points with this one here. Let's face it, Mejia, the Dons, they got some sharpshooters out there. They got some dudes that can bomb away. If they're making them, that's gonna be a rough one here for Santa Clara. Road or not, are you buying the Dons in this one?
I like them. Their guards are pretty good, and they lost a really good one last year. So being able to especially under new coach, you got Todd Golden going to Florida, and so they had his assistant replace them, and they were able to pick up where they left off. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a drop-off than there has been. So impressive what San Francisco has been able to do. Santa Clara's won 4 straight, beat Boise, beat Cal. So some impressive wins. They scuffled with Portland State, but got that W there too. And they've been pretty good at home, with their performances there. So I think you have to give them the lean at home, but this is not a game I want to touch. Both teams top 90 or top 100 at least in net rating. So this could be a springboard for the winner here. I definitely give a slight advantage to to Santa Clara, but I'm not going to touch the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Dons lost a game. What was it, back in the beginning, I think, of December? It was to what, UT Arlington, and Robert, our producer, and I were just like, oh, there's no way they're going to lose to UT Arlington's hot trash. Going to, whoo, that was rough. But they seem to have bounced back pretty good here. What do you think here? You trust the Dons to keep it rolling, Merrill, or do you think Santa Clara can handle them?
Yeah, that Texas-Arlington loss was actually 3 games back, Joe, on December 19th, and it was sandwiched in between an outright underdog win at UNLV and then an eventual 37-point straight-up dog win against Arizona State. So I think in hindsight, that was just a flat spot. So we will definitely give San Francisco a pass on that one. And this is a really good San Francisco team. They rate top 100 both offense and defensive efficiencies. Santa Clara just outside the top 100. So these are pretty equally matched teams. They both play at a fairly fast tempo. And I think there might actually be some value with the over tonight because Santa Clara has quietly gone under now in 6 of their last 7 games. I don't think that'll be the case tonight, though. I think both teams will play fast, get some points. And I'll lean San Francisco as well. And keep in mind, over winter break here, I think you can make a case that home courts are not as strong with the students gone and everything kind of off kilter. The class schedules aren't an issue. Travel's not as much of an issue for the road teams. This is the short road trip to start with. So I do think home court is minimal in this game. I think San Francisco is the better team on both ends of the court, slightly, but the better team. And the one number that really jumps out to me is 3-point defense. San Francisco's allowing 12.5. Santa Clara's allowing 35% this year. Anyway, I love that Bryan Power brought up the luck rating because, once again, Santa Clara has been one of the luckiest teams, and that applies to straight-up wins. The KenPom luck rating is just a straight-up win factor, so we can't use it too often. But here again, in a game in which the point spread is only 2.5 or 3, it does come into play. So I think there's a lot of things pointing to San Francisco tonight. I would lean over as well.
All right, leaning towards the over in that one. We do have another game here that involves a team from Texas, North Texas, in fact, taking on the FAU Owls. And boy, have you got trouble sleeping. I would encourage you to watch this game because it's going to be much like watching freaking paint dry here. -2 for North Texas, 123. I believe is the total with this one. 8 o'clock, little Conference USA action. Nice win over Northern Kentucky there for FAU. But the Mean Green, I believe they also took down that UTSA team. Either way, pace is not going to be up-tempo here at all. Or maybe it is, Bryan Power. Maybe you know something I don't. But this 123 seems high, and that should tell us everything we need to know about what we're going to get in this game.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this game. I think it should be a really good game along with UAB. These teams are the class of Conference USA. And if one of these teams were to win the Conference USA tournament, I think the other one could very much be an at-large team. We talked about where San Francisco and Santa Clara are at in the KenPom ratings. I mean, these are 2 of the best mid-major teams in America right now. As a matter of fact, the last time FAU lost or failed to cover was their very first game. 13-point loss to Ole Miss. Since then, we're talking about 11 straight wins. They've covered every line game. They're averaging over 80 points per game. So, oh my goodness, you're saying, how can this total be so low? Well, North Texas is going to make it tough on the Owls. They play at a snail's pace. Second slowest pace in the country. They give up just 51.8 points per game. They've won 5 in a row, so they come in hot as well. But in their 2 losses this year, the Mean Green have only scored 33 and 51 points. Hello. So this is a team shooting under 40% for the year overall. Don't shoot well from 3. I think it's got all the makings of a rock fight. I would lean to the under, despite it being a very low number. FAU, I do not think hits its usual percentage from 3 in this game. And North Texas, I don't think gets to the free throw line as much as they have been. So a slight lean towards the under tonight here between Florida Atlantic and North Texas.
All right. Well, I mean, they certainly have gotten it rolling. I've had a chance to check out a few of these FAU games. They're not exactly the best shooting team that I've seen in years past here, Tony Mejia. So it also lends to, the under and the total in this one. But, hey, something's got to give, right? Who are you buying in this matchup?
Yeah, Dusty May's squad has a little depth to them, so certainly no fluke that they've started 11-1. And we've seen Grant McCaslin's Mean Green play this way for the last few years, so no stunner that North Texas is going to play at a snail's pace, and they're going to try to shut you down defensively. 51.8 points per game. That's good for second in all of Division I in terms of points allowed. So they have an identity and they stick to it. The Tyler Perry, who's not spelled like the normal Tyler Perry, there's an O in there somewhere, but I'm sure that kid's gotten that for his entire life. He's a really dynamic scorer, so it's kind of funny you have a dynamic scorer on a team that really doesn't score much, and he's kind of their closer. Missing games earlier in the year, but he's healthy and good to go. And I think it's a good test for both of these teams to see where they're at, especially this early in Conference USA, as Power mentioned. These are two of the better teams in the league. FAU, it's a one-off trip for them because they're back home for the next couple of games against UAB and Charlotte. So two of the better teams as well in that league. So we'll see if they're ready to go here. I'd favor North Texas just because the style being what it is and going on the road to play that style, that's a couple of tough obstacles for the Owls.
Yeah, and they're good defensively, especially at home, this North Texas squad. It feels like maybe first 1 to 60 wins, Merrill, but who are you leaning towards in this matchup?
Yeah, it's funny. North Texas is actually 3-1 to the over their last 4 games, but 2 of those totals were 114 and 113.5. So this 123 is actually a fairly high total, in my opinion, for North Texas. I think that's one of the reasons we've seen it come down 3.5 points from the opener in the 126.5 range. And I would agree with the under. It's the only way to play it. And if it does go under, if it's really ugly, that probably favors North Texas as well, obviously, because as Bryan mentioned, 362nd tempo out of 363 teams. There's only one team, the entire nation, that plays slower than North Texas this year. And as you said, Joe, really good defense, but bad offense, 39.5% shooting. What's interesting about Florida Atlantic, you were saying they're not a good shooting team, but offensively 49% and 39% from 3, yet they only hit 66% from the free throw line. So those numbers don't really jive. And neither team is very good, by the way, from the free throw line, both sub 70% this year. So I think that also helps the under. And North Texas being at home should slow the tempo down here. So I think under 123 still has some value, even though it's dropped about 1.5 baskets from the opener.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a rock fight here. We'll see if North Texas can hold serve on their home court. But, hey, plenty of action across the board here today. A lot of different games. One's already underway, I believe. So let's see if there is one on the card that these guys like a little bit more than the rest. We'll start again with you, Bryan Power. Talk to us here. Plenty. I guess you're leaning here to Nebraska. Iowa game, you mentioned a total here. Is that going to be your best bet?
It is, and I'm going to say the game goes over. Look, Nebraska is going to have success offensively. I believe tonight they're shooting 54% inside the arc, and Iowa is not a good defensive team on the interior. Balanced scoring in Lincoln. 6 players averaging between 9 and 14 points per game. 5 were in double figures in the last game. They put up 75 there. And the Huskers' three-point shooting, which is currently at 29%, it has to get better eventually, right? You can't shoot 29% from 3 for an entire season. Why doesn't it improve here, is what I asked. The over has hit, by the way, 9 of the last 10 times these teams have played. The one time it didn't, there were still 146 points scored. So it's a history of high-scoring games when these teams play. Every one of those last 10 meetings, by the way, had an over-under line of 148.5 or higher. So this number is in line with the past when these play. I like the over here. I think Iowa, who, oh, by the way, as Steve mentioned, let Eastern Illinois shoot 60% from the field. That can't happen if you have any aspirations of advancing in an NCAA tournament. But they average 83.8 points per game themselves. Each of their last 3 games have exceeded 150 points. Give me the over in this one.
All right, he's looking at the up and over there. Nebraska taking on Iowa. Should be a good one here tonight. Talk to us, Mejia. You mentioned you got to play here tonight in the NFL over at your page, and tell us what a best bet is here, and if anything else is going on there.
Yeah, speaking of my page, it's wt.buzz/TM, and you can go there and find my analysis for the pick that I'm about to give you, which is Paul and Georgetown squaring off today. Little Big East action. I don't know if you guys caught it because it was in the mix of all the other Christmas Day stuff, but the Big East had a Christmas Day game, their first ever in conference history, and I think it's something that they're going to continue with. But Creighton hosted DePaul, and we had the backdoor cover of all backdoor covers, where my man went right into the lane, dribbled in, hit a layup. I know Adam Trigger was in on that because I saw his tweet right after that. DePaul plus 15.5, early Christmas present and all of that. I was in on over 144.5, and that landed at 145 thanks to that layup. So it was the layup that keeps on giving. And now DePaul looks to make waves against Georgetown. And I think they can steal this game outright. So I'm taking the 4 points. Patrick Ewing, loved him as a kid. He's a guy I grew up idolizing as a New York Knicks fan and New Yorker. But he is not a good coach, obviously, as anybody who has watched the Hoyas knows. He plays his guys like Tom Thibodeau, 35 minutes plus. There are 4 guys on the roster averaging 34.8 minutes per game on a 40-minute game. So doesn't trust his bench. It's not a very talented roster. It's very top-heavy, and those guys get tired, foul trouble, and all of a sudden you end up with the short end of the stick, as Patrick Ewing has managed to do 8 out of 13 times this season, and they're 0-2 in the Big East. I think they drop to 0-3, take the points with Umoja Gibson and Javon Johnson and the DePaul Blue Demons plus 4.
All right, there you go. Going a little DePaul, Georgetown. How about you, Merrill? Where are you looking here tonight on the card for a best bet?
Yeah, I actually talked about DePaul, Georgetown on Wager Talk today. I gave it a free play in the total, so check that out from today's show on Thursday. And also gave out a second college basketball game for free, which I'm going to mention here as a free play for Thursday night. Free college basketball play for Thursday night here in just a moment. Quick reminder, though, that it's bowl season. I've got a strong bowl best bet for Thursday on my page right now. Also a college and pro basketball best bet. So 3 strong plays for Thursday. Don't forget you can get that bowl game tonight for free and the rest of the season for free. All this weekend, the day after New Year's Day, the 2nd, the national championship next week. The bowls are free when you buy the NFL package right now. It's a special $199 combo that gets the rest of the football season through the Super Bowl. No promo code needed. Go to my page to get it right now, stevemerrillwagertalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Free college basketball play tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. Going to look at over the total between BYU and Pacific, over 150.5. Opener was 148. The sharp money quickly came in on the over, bumped it to 150.5, and I agree with that move. 2 teams in BYU and Pacific that like to play up-tempo, and we get some sneaky line value because both teams have recently played slow-down half-court teams. Don't worry about Pacific's 59-58 win against San Jose State a couple games back. San Jose State plays at the 351st slowest pace in the country. Lamar also plays slow, and Pacific has gone under in back-to-back games there. But Pacific is one of the worst defensive teams in the country. They've barely cracked the top 300 in defensive efficiency. BYU will take advantage tonight, and BYU plays at the 25th fastest pace out of 363 teams. And they, too, have just played a slow-down team in Weber State, who's in the 280s, 63-57. But before that, they played Lindenwood, who plays fast. BYU put up 90 points in that game, and it went over the total. So once again, 2 teams that have been kind of held in check recently get to run tonight, and that'll lead to a high-scoring shootout between BYU and Pacific at 9 o'clock Eastern. Played over the total. And don't forget, get my bowl best bet for Thursday and the rest of the season. The bowl is for free right now with that 2-for-1 college and pro football special. No promo code needed. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
All right, good stuff there, Merrill. We also have our friends at the Gold Sheet. They got a play that they're looking at here tonight, and actually 2 pretty darn good teams. You probably don't get a whole lot of action on, but Sam Houston taking on Utah Valley here. Both teams have had some success here in the non-conference portion of the schedule, but it is going to be the under for our friends at the Gold Sheet. They are pointing out that both teams are outside the top 200 in tempo. Last year, it was a 57-54 battle. And then, of course, both teams coming in after a long rest, 9 days worth of non-games here. So Sam Houston State, Utah Valley under here tonight for our friends at the Gold Sheet. We'd encourage you to head over to thegoldsheet.com. Check it out, guys. Plenty of write-ups here across the board on all these games, not to mention great analytics and tools to use to try and find an edge, and that's really what it's all about. So visit goldsheet.com. Quick side note here before we get to the play. I know, Mejia, you had mentioned Was it +4 or -4 with the poll? I just want to make sure we give out the right line so people don't think we're absolutely crazy
I
here.
misspoke. It's DePaul -4, and it's just because I'm so used to DePaul getting points that I
exactly.
didn't. So,
Still a play, though, right?
They are laying them. I would lay them against Patrick Ewing's Hoyas. So
okay, so regardless, okay, not a problem there. So there we go. Glad we clarified that. I am going to go with an under as well. I know Merrill was talking about slow tempos. We talked about North Texas, talked about Lamar. Anybody slower than USF? Mejia knows this. Good Lord, is this going to be like watching Patriot? They are the South Florida Bulls here. They are not going to be in a hurry to do absolutely anything. They're probably not going to score an awful lot. They're going up against Memphis, who is a top 25 rated defense here in this country. They may have a player or two out, but it's not going to matter. I don't think they're going to muster enough points here to help this thing go up and over the 140 mark where it's at right now. So I am going to go under the 140 for USF and Memphis here tonight. And once again, to recap, guys, Bryan Power, he's going to go Iowa, Nebraska up and over. Don't expect that one to stay under there. 150, he likes it. Mejia, he's going to go DePaul -4 against Georgetown, while Merrill, he's going to go BYU Pacific over in this matchup. Should be a fun one there at 150.5. I am going to talk under here with Memphis and South Florida. 140 is that number, and our friends from the Gold Sheet, they too like an under, only in the Sam Houston State Utah Valley matchup. And guys, you can get all the best bets tonight across the board. You heard Merrill say he is locked and loaded across the sports landscape tonight. Mejia tonight, a little Thursday night football. Bryan Power ready to go, coming off a big 5% win in a bowl game last night. He's got more where that came from, guys. You got to visit him at wagertalk.com. Visit Steve Merrill as well as Tony Mejia. Guys, there are plays ready to roll here tonight. There is absolutely no reason not to make it a very profitable end to 2022. Hop on board, guys. Partner up with them over at wagertalk.com. All right, that'll do it here. Just a couple more days, guys, left in the year. We've got one more college basketball tip-off show tomorrow. That'll be the last one of 2022. However, we'll be back again next week. Plenty more college basketball to kick off a brand new year. 2023 is almost upon us. Until then, on behalf of Bryan Power, Steve Merrill, and Tony Mejia, guys, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Want to wish you and yours a very happy and safe New Year's. And come back and join us tomorrow. We'll see if we can't put a couple of more winners together before New Year's Day. Best of luck with all your plays, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Ready to take your favorite Wager Talk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The Wager Talk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like Wager Talk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report. Plus, browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for Wager Talk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.